Summer. Day 90. Preston to Blackpool. Route. Preston, Clifton, Freckleton, Wharton, Lytham St Anne's, Blackpool. County, Lancashire. It wasn't until I got to Freckleton and had turned off the radio that I finally began to come to terms with the fact that I had made another booking to stay 2 nights in Blackpool. If money and budgeting weren't such a priority, I'm sure that it wouldn't have got to me as bad as it did. I'd been so careful up until these past couple of weeks, and had been camping for weeks on end. Since coming back into England, I felt as though I'd started to splurge. In my head, I tried to find ways to justify my additional expenditure. I know that in time, the decision to book another room wouldn't be so bad, but right now, it did not sit comfortably with me. I was agonising over my decision to spend money on a room, when the money probably would have been better spent on some outdoor equipment, such as an umbrella. I left Stonycroft's campsite along the A582 and stopped to scroll into my notebook. Accept decision. Only to find myself on booking.com 5 minutes later and a few more paces up, putting in a request for a free cancellation. This made me feel better, and I enjoyed the walk through to Albert Edward Dock. The A roads were lined with an abundance of plums in dark purples, yellows, and reds. They were so plump and juicy. At Edwards Dock, there is a retail park with McDonald's and Morrison's. I stopped off for a coffee at McDonald's. Again, something only a couple of weeks ago I'd considered to be a luxury, and I flicked to booking.com. My cancellation had been declined, and my feeling of contentedness was short-lived. At the other end of the car park, there was a white lighthouse. This was Morrison's supermarket, where I picked up a tin of mackerel in korma to supplement the leftover tinned vegetables from yesterday's dinner. I took the Blackpool Road and the Preston New Road into Freckleton, and I tried to distract my anxious thoughts with this morning's episode of BBC Woman's Hour. The presenter announced that the days are now shorter and we are now waking up in the dark. I penned down the number 3204045093, PIN code 049 from booking.com, and tried to phone the helpline to see if I could cancel my booking. To no avail. On the Preston New Road, a cheerful BT guy asked where I was going and said how cool it was what I was doing. At Freckleton, I ate my lunch and then joined the Lancashire coastal path and managed to jump out the day's frustrations along the marshy footpaths which circle Wharton Aerodrome. The land has been moulded by the weight of herds of cattle, but has been made navigable by the farmer with old railway sleepers. The Lancashire coastline has a variety of landscapes, from distinctive limestone scenery of Arnside and Silverdale, salt marshes and agricultural land, and the seaside resorts of Morecambe, Blackpool, and the Field coast. There are major river estuaries of the Lune, Wear, and Ribble, with much bird life. There is evidence of past industries based on iron, salt, and limestone along the modern businesses of British Aerospace, Nuclear Electric, British Gas, and ICI, and busy harbours at Fleetwood, Heysham, and Glasson Dock, and views of Morecambe Bay, the Bowland Fells, and the Lake District. Extract from ldwa.org.uk. At Lytham, I stopped for another coffee at McDonald's, and then planned a stopping point for dinner at Lytham St Anne's. I was starting to feel good, until a little boy asked his dad, "Is it a man or a lady?" And another visitor, who was waiting outside Lytham Windmill, stood gawping at me. I felt as though I was becoming short-tempered and less sociable. The repetition of having to say hello and explaining your story over and over has started to drain me. The man standing outside Lytham Lighthouse probably didn't realise he was staring with his mouth wide open, but I'd had enough, and I decided to stare back. I didn't recognise this blunt and confrontational part of myself. When I left Granny's Bay and arrived at St Anne's, I was tempted by the fast food restaurants, but I didn't like that feeling of pressure when you walk into a fast food shop and the assistant asks, before you've even had time to look at the menu, "What can I get you?" So I went to Sainsbury's instead. At the end of the walk, I usually start to flag, and my energy levels start to wane. My senses usually feel depleted, and I struggle to find a photograph. But not in Blackpool. The flashing lights, glitter balls, joke shops and bingo halls felt like an instant sugar rush, which left me feeling overstimulated and not really knowing which way to look. Distance, 41.94 kilometres. Total distance, 1,759.48 kilometres.